Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, Cal Poly. Welcome to Cal Poly's fall commencement ceremony for the College of Liberal Arts and the Orfalea College of Business. My name is Keith Humphrey, and it is my privilege as Cal Poly's Vice President for Student Affairs to preside over today's joyous ceremony. At this time, it is my distinct honor to present Dr. Thomas Davies, who will lead Cal Poly's early music ensemble in the singing of the national anthem. At this time, I ask that you please rise if you are able, and gentlemen, please remove your caps and enjoy the music.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing our vast star-spangled banner yet wave. O'er the land of the free, and the home of the
Please be seated. We have so many reasons to be Cal Poly proud today. As a university, we are conferring more than 900 degrees upon deserving scholars. Each of our students has worked very hard, and encouraging them at each step of the way has been our talented and dedicated faculty and staff, as well as the many parents, brothers, sisters, partners, spouses, friends, and supporters. Graduates, from wow to now. I'm always gonna wait for it. We have all invested a great deal in your success. Our hope is that the principles of the Mustang Way, pride, responsibility, and character have created a foundation upon which you will thrive and inspire others. You are expected to enter the world poised to make a difference in your professions and through service to your communities. During your time in San Luis Obispo, you have improved this community, and we are confident about the contributions you will make to improving our world. Already, 4 of our graduates are prepared to serve in the most unselfish way of all and will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army today. We are especially indebted and thankful to all who have served in the military, and at this time, I ask that all active duty servicemen and women and veterans in attendance please stand and be recognized for your service to our country. Thank you. Following the traditions begun in the great universities of medieval times, we are assembled today to welcome these graduates into the company of educated individuals. It is a time when we can share in their pride and look with them towards the future. Joining me on stage is President Jeffrey D. Armstrong and members of his party. Special guests and individuals invited to address the graduates will be introduced later in the program. Other members of the President's Party with us today are Executive Vice Chancellor and General Counsel for the California State University, Fram Verjee, Chair of Cal Poly's Academic Senate, Gary Laver, University Legal Counsel, Dawn Theodora, Dean of Students, Kathleen McMahon, and Grand Marshal Andrew Schaffner. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you your student body president, Jana Colombini. Yeah. Since assuming her leadership role this summer, Jana has worked diligently on behalf of the Cal Poly student body. She has brought a strong sense of self and a broad level of participation in many different Cal Poly activities to help her understand how to best serve. Jana cares deeply about Cal Poly and always works to do the right thing to help your university move forward in positive ways. Cal Poly is already better because of Jana's leadership, and we look forward to her remarks today and continued leadership in the new year. Please welcome your student body president, Jana Colombini.
Hello everyone, my name is Jana Colombini. I'm a fourth-year agricultural science student and I am your ASI president. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. Supporters, parents, family, and friends. You are here because you care about these soon-to-be graduates. You are here because you have made impacts in their lives and you are very important to us and we are so very thankful for you. But now I'd like to turn all of my attention to my peers. Remember to thank your supporters, your faculty, and mentors that have positively impacted your life and helped you get to this moment because none of us could have done it alone. But don't forget about those other resources you had, like Poly Ratings or Quizlet, or the class of Facebook pages that you would post on if you lost your Poly card or needed survey responses, looking at the College of Business for your marketing classes right there. Other than that, on a more serious note, thank yourself. You made it and you battled through these past 4, 5, maybe 6 years, and you did it for yourself. Now, I may be a little jealous because I still have 2 very long quarters left here at Cal Poly, but you have accomplished something that not everyone has the ability to do. You earned a college degree, and you did it at one of the best, most competitive and intense universities in the country. So now go out into the world and use all those skills you have learned here and be successful. But along the way, don't forget about the memories you made here at Cal Poly. That feeling you felt when you were a Wowie and you were scared to start this new chapter in your life, all the hikes around SLO that ended in basic Instagram pictures, the late night adventures with your friends, going to Slodoko and Taco Bell after those late night adventures with your friends, the random whiffs of the dairy unit that you would get coming out of class, or the not so random parking tickets that we would all get. Being some of the last to know about VG's late night and those amazing waffles and breakfast burritos. Amazing. The moments you realize that you met some of your lifelong best friends, the clubs and organizations that you now call your family, and the hours upon hours that you spent studying to receive something that maybe you were the first in your family to do. Yeah. To put your hard work into perspective, if you listened to Dean Bailey and you studied 25 to 35 hours a week, over the course of 4 years, taking 3 quarters a year, you studied anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 hours over your time here. If you're a 5th year, I see some people like shaking their heads, no, I did not do that. If you're a 5th year, at about 900 to 1,000 hours or beyond if you're a 6th year. Some of us put in far more than that, but a lot of us put in far less, and we're still here today, and we should be very proud of that moment. Regardless, you have overcome your struggles and challenges, and today we celebrate your success. You're now a Wowie of the real world, and you're gonna be scared and you're probably already nervous, but you get to grow from your experience, and after the first few weeks out in the real world, you'll get it down just like when you came to Cal Poly, or after the first few years, just like when you came to Cal Poly. This is the end of just the introductory chapter of your life. You have so many more chapters to write. Always remember to keep learning by doing or learning by failing. But regardless, have fun with the next chapter of your life, and congratulations, Mustangs, you earned it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jana. At this time, I would like to introduce the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Doug Epperson.
Well, good afternoon, and let me begin by offering my personal congratulations to the graduates in the College of Liberal Arts and the Orfalea College of Business. You've worked hard to get here, and I hope you enjoy your moment today. I have only 1 minute to introduce today's faculty speaker, so let me just get right down to it and tell you that Professor Karen Munoz Christian is a university rock star. Some of you have had her. She excels in the classroom as reflected by students' ratings and by her 2016 Distinguished Teaching Award from the Cal Poly Academic Senate. This is the highest teaching award offered by the university. But that is only one piece of the picture, because Professor Munoz Christian is also a fully engaged member of our community. She actively engages in service activities herself, and she engages students in those activities as part of their classroom learning experiences. Her achievements in service and service learning have been recognized by a 2008 Cal Poly President's Award for Service Learning and a 2014 Rise Up in Power Award. The latter award was for the extensive translation work that she and her students provided for programs focused on sexual abuse and intimate partner violence prevention and support programs. So parents, faculty and staff, and students, it is my pleasure to present Professor Karen Munoz Christian.
Good afternoon, graduates, family and friends, Cal Poly faculty and staff, and special guests. Buenas tardes a los graduados, sus familias, sus amigos, los profesores y personal de Cal Poly, y los invitados de honor. I'm honored to be on this stage speaking to you today. In fact, I'm thrilled. As many of my former students know, I fantasize about being the star of a Mexican telenovela or rock star singing backup for Lionel Richie or Madonna or Mark Anthony. This comes pretty close to that. While I wait to be discovered, I teach Spanish here at Cal Poly. And because I come from a family of storytellers, I tell stories. The story of how I got to San Luis Obispo from Kansas, where I was born and grew up, is too long and convoluted to tell here. Instead, I'd like to share with you something I've come across along the way, my big themes. Those of you who have taken one of my classes will remember being put in a small group, probably on a day when all you really wanted to do was nap, or text, or Snapchat, and being asked to discuss at least one of my favorite big themes. Here are some of them: memory and imagination, identity as process and the false binaries of gender, race, sexuality, nonlinear time. Star Trek gets it right, by the way. Destiny versus free will, and my top two big themes: history and who controls how history is written, and finally, reality, perception, and how we determine what is real. In other words, the complexity of our world can't be captured in a tweet. These are issues that fascinate me, and I'm grateful to my students for joining me on the journey of exploration and questioning. There's one more big theme that runs through my story: the importance of building bridges and making connections. Why did I become so passionate about Spanish? Because through language, I've experienced the excitement of connecting with people who are very different from me. And through teaching, I've had the privilege of connecting with my students and learning from them. Things like how to fix tech glitches in supposedly smart classrooms, the best Pandora stations, the funniest memes, think Pepe the Frog, the latest viral videos. Currently, check it out, Invitación a los 15 años de Rubí. The theme of bridges and connections runs through my students' stories and their dreams for the future as well. Your stories touch me and inspire me as you share these dreams of making a difference in your communities and in the world. Graduates, as your stories continue to be written, find your big themes. Let them guide you and help you build bridges. And if by some miracle you happen to connect with Lionel Richie or Madonna or Mark Anthony, please give me a call. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Karen. Excellent, excellent comments. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of Cal Poly, Dr. Jeffrey D. Armstrong.
Hello, graduates, family members, and all the guests. It's my pleasure now to introduce our commencement speaker. A common theme in commencement speeches is the power of one. The power of each and every graduate, each and every one of you, to use your degree to make good, to do good, to make a difference in the world. For an example, today, we need to look no further than Twisije Jackson Kaguri. You have his bio in the program. I've been fortunate to have known Jackson since 2003 and watched and worked alongside him at Michigan State as he built what he'll talk about today. I will tell you, not to repeat his bio, but tell you a couple of things. He's from a small village in Uganda, and he moved from that position to an international hero, a CNN hero. Jackson has dedicated his life to educating himself in order to help others through his words and actions. He didn't have to look very far for the need. It was right there in his own village. His efforts to help children affected by AIDS have resonated around the globe. Learn by doing, help by doing, change a life, change many lives by doing. That's what Jackson Kaguri has been doing with his life. Please join me in welcoming Jackson Kaguri to the stage. We're so honored to have you with us today, Jackson.
I don't know if that is for your president or for me. But I must tell you that I'm honored beyond explanation to be invited to give a commencement today. Your president, Dr. Jeff Armstrong, has allowed me over the years to not call him Dr. Armstrong and call him Jeff. And for a boy who grew up in a tiny village in Uganda to stand in front of you and be allowed by your president to be called Jeff is not only crossing the boundaries, it is also becoming BFF. So thank you, sir. Thank you to the faculty and thank you to the trustees of this wonderful university. It's a great honor to be here, and I will start by taking you on a journey to the village where I was born and raised, in a tiny Uganda village where my mother, who can't read and write, right now sitting in a wheelchair while his son is giving a commencement at the greatest university called Cal Poly. For mom and dad who never went to school, they took a chance of sending 5 of us, their children, to school. They didn't know what they were doing, but they went into it with faith. Faith, which is one of the things I would like to talk to you who are about to get your degrees, that you have to believe in things that are not seen. Have faith. If not in God like me, have faith in something beyond that all of us don't understand. It's that faith that allowed me to look back to the village where I was born and raised and do something for somebody who could not do it for themselves. 5 children growing in a tiny village, no running water, an economically deprived place. My mom and my dad sold chickens and goats and cows so we can get an education. They went through life without ever buying themselves any luxury item so their 5 children would get an education. They were determined. Determination of one of the things I would like to talk to you. But we as children also were determined to succeed no matter the circumstances. And so no matter what life throws at you, you've already gone through 4 years, 5 years, I hear 6 years of education at this great university. Don't you let anything you did in those 5 years bar you from continuing to succeed. Don't you let that drunk night when you woke up and didn't know where you were stop you to continue doing what you have to do. Stay determined, look forward, and you will succeed. I'm not telling you this because it is a feral something you think about. I have lived it. I walked miles, 7.5 miles, to go to school on barefoot. I finished my education in Uganda, got a scholarship to Columbia University in New York, and studied international human rights law. The reason I chose to study international human rights law, growing up, I saw so many injustices in the village. Girls who could not go to school because they have no sanitary products. Boys who could not go to school because they didn't have a pencil. I knew it was unfair. Women who were beaten every night and still have to cook for their husbands. I knew it was unfair and I didn't know what to do. It was after I was finishing Columbia University that my brother, who died of HIV/AIDS, the biggest boy in the family, then sister who also passed away, leaving children. When I started taking care of these children, I realized my nieces and nephews had an uncle, but there were millions of other children in Uganda, in the village where I was born, who did not have an uncle. So I went back to the village, left Columbia University in the city of New York, a place where I wanted to live and buy a red car and marry a beautiful wife and live working for United Nations, and went back to Uganda to build a school for my village, a school that would have children go in free of charge, a school that now educates more than 900 students, 3 schools, all getting education, food, health care, and live with grandmothers. Grandmothers who are not related to these children, but still love them and care for them. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, our organization is taking care of 7,000 grandmothers, raising 43,000 HIV/AIDS orphans. And that would not have been possible if I gave up, or if I looked back and looked at the mistakes I made. But I want to leave you with just a quick story. My parents can't read, can't write in English. The world calls them illiterates. People sit in their offices and call my parents illiterate. I call them geniuses. Geniuses because my father knew that if we showed up at school and didn't have a pencil in hand, we would be sent home to get a pencil. And my father would sell chicken and buy one pencil for all 5 children. So as a child, I remember my father standing in front of our house, breaking a pencil. Jackson, there's your pencil. Faida, there's your pencil. Christine, there's your pencil. Mbabazi, can't break. There's your pencil. And Frank, the oldest boy, always got one with a razor. For those of you who are graduating today, I would like you to think back on what your parents have done, what they have given up so you can be here. I would like you to think back on what your faculty and staff have done so you can be here. But I also want to remember that making a difference in the world does not take so much. All it takes is 1/5 of a pencil. Just 1/5 of a pencil. So whenever you feel discouraged, whenever you feel you can't do anything for somebody, think of 1/5 of a pencil. And I know you can do it, because if I could do it and change lives of children because of 1/5 of a pencil, you can do it 100 times more. And you have everything it takes from Karpori to do it. So go out, go get them, go do it. God bless you.
Thank you, Jackson, for sharing your story and for inspiring us all to be better versions of ourselves. Now, the Cal Poly Early Music Ensemble will perform Irish Blessing, arranged by Graham Langagar.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields, until we meet again, my friend, until we meet again. May God hold you
Okay, it's that time. It is time to confer degrees earned by our candidates for graduation. To preside over the conferral of degrees, please welcome Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Kathleen Enns Finken.
Good afternoon and welcome. Congratulations, graduates. Among the candidates for degrees are those who are graduating with honors. These graduates are noted in the commencement program and will be recognized when they cross the stage. Master's degree candidates that have met the highest level of achievement are designated as graduating with academic excellence. Bachelor's degree candidates graduating with GPAs of 3.5 and above are designated as cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. President Armstrong, we will begin the presentation of candidates, and I am pleased to introduce Dr. Richard Savage, Interim Dean of Graduate Education, who will present the master's degree candidates.
Good afternoon. Faculty representing the master's degree programs, please stand and be recognized. Master's degree candidates, please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of our graduate programs faculty, I am honored to present these candidates.
Master's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of California Polytechnic State University, and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the master's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
Faculty, you may be seated. And master's degree candidates, please follow Marshal Lisa Sweat to the right of the stage. As your name is read, proceed across the platform where you will receive the master's hood appropriate to your degree.
Adrian Schultz. Ryan Zumwalt. Hajara Unis Gori. Kevin Anderson. Brandon Gunderson. Jason Carr. Kevin Karstens.
Congratulations again, master's degree candidates. Of the 900 graduates this weekend, about 90 are our master's degree candidates, so we're a small but important part of the Cal Poly community. Congratulations again.
President Armstrong, I call forward Dr. Douglas Epperson, the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts.
Faculty representatives from the College of Liberal Arts, please stand and be recognized and remain standing. Bachelor degree candidates from the College of Liberal Arts, please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty from the College of Liberal Arts, I am honored to present these candidates.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Liberal Arts and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
Faculty, you may be seated. Graduates of the College of Liberal Arts, please follow Marshal Penny Bennett and Assistant Marshal Michael Latner to the right of the stage. As your name is read, proceed across the platform to be recognized.
Ambria Newman. Kate Matsuda. Dominique Boyer. Emma Eskildsen. Peyton Luce. Jacqueline Ramirez. Catalina Samantha Vasquez. Elise Rowan. Avra Rose Baum. Suha Saya. Hira Khalida Shafiq. Demetria Kastan. Jamie Krieger. Ben Goss. Justin J. Menor. Chad Crawford. Morgan Bing. Megan Love. Carla Harleen Wood. Savannah Murphy. Annie Thacker. Tess Hafley. Micaiah Sandy. Michael Kramer. Ryan Page. Madison Utley. Brianna Birch. Shannon Bauman. Raymond Norty. Mallory St. George. Amanda Elizabeth Fridley. Allison Edmonds. Annie Erickson. Madison Page Garcia. Corey Jones. Jenny Casey Jr. Alyssa Nicole Howitzer. Janice Cordillo. Brandon Covarrubias. Brianna Hasmin Ornelas Parrish. Troy Adair. Alonzo Llamas. Ana Cabrera Matias. Marie Campos. Krista Herkman. Megan Bradbury. Angie Pereda. Rihanna Baeza. Emily Phillips. Britley Owens. Christopher Borham. Joshua Luna. Haley Bloom. Erica Alexander. Kate Gustafson. Yolanda Tanya Fisher. Joseph Totterdell. Holly Griner. Hunter Snyder. Joshua Wolcott. Sarah Howland. Sean Christopher O'Neill. Cameron Hallen. Nicole Lim. Caleb Gotthard. Connor McNamara.
Cooper Peltz. Keegan Copel. Amber C. Garman. Isabel Salazar. Alicia Pamela Cruz. Jasmine Elliott. Miguel Angel Contreras. Jackie Fleming. Caitlin Radke. Randy Marie Lee. Joseph Mickelon. Nicole Wheeler. Brianna Rittman. Chase Minter. Bjorn Sundberg. Brandon Kilburn Tuttle. Pearson J. Anthis Christensen. Micah E. Christensen Anthis. Nicole Backman. Ryan Levine. Kyle Sun Cham. Monica Fryer. Angela Garcias Arenas. Elise Anderson. Shelby Lynn Lozada. Nantara Wishwarat. Jaisal Rajendra Panchal. Kylie Metzger. Madison Van Dam. Alex Brecker. Ashley Vong. Haley Westfall. Sarah O'Reilly. Daniel Blankenship. Shauna Jellison. Sam Holzer. Harmony Chen. Leanne Chun. Allison Smith. Jake Gagne. Catherine Garcia. Rachel Hopping. Tana Doyle. Annie Francis.
Graduates in the College of Liberal Arts, congratulations. Faculty, staff, and friends, join me in a round of applause.
Congratulations. President Armstrong, I call forward Kevin Lurtwachara, Interim Dean of the Orfalea College of Business.
Thank you. Faculty from the Orfalea College of Business, please stand to be recognized and remain standing. Bachelor's degree candidates from the Orfalea College of Business, today is your day. Please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Business, I'm very proud to present these candidates.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of the Orfalea College of Business and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
Faculty, please be seated. Graduates of the Orfalea College of Business, please follow Marshal Eric Olson and Assistant Marshal Cal Stevens to the stage. And proceed across the platform as your name is read and be recognized.
John Eric Murphy. Brittany Elisa Poltgen. Sadie Suzanne Strain. Michael Gumpers. Kirsten Amber Norden. Natalie Avelia Renites. Michelle Marshall. Jessica Lopez. Sherry Yu. Hannah Lewis. Samson Wu. Heather Terreri. Sean Dillon. Sean Gorman. Karan Singh. David Olson. Patrick McConnell. Katie Exum. Patrick McCaffrey. Ryan Mars. Christopher Stephen King. Benjamin Gordon Ostland. Katie Hu. Joanna Amezqua. Magda Maldonado. Catherine Miralda. Jason Berry. Kayla Curiel. Charles Blazer Jr. Curtis Montana Darga. John Barrett Davidson. Forrester Keith Fringer. Divya Madhaparty. Matthew Thomas. Caroline Reineck. Christopher Paul Real Pagador. Haley Andronovich. Edwin Irvin Morales Guzman. Fiona Quach. Kevin Lee. Tino Nerez. Jeffrey Levy. Leo Famey. Luke Nakagawa. Sage Torres. John Crescent. Keenan Doneth. Jake Salerno. Kian Jeffries. Kristen Nicole Hardkey. Zachary John Osborne. Frank Moldenhauer. Shu Hua Huang. Mia Solly. Emily Joy Haycock. Jason Louis. Stephen Nguyen. Lila Khan. Janina Juvapart. Malia Yee. Shelby Sly. Melissa Hester. Or Redco. Charlene Binner. Megan Wassaloff. Betsy Howard. Will Fors. Ben Katz. Greg Watford Golf. Chad Gilliland. Brian Joseph Hayes. Kevin Andrew DeLorne. Madeline Andrews. Jordan Thomas Hill. Nate Roberts. Lucia Amanda Arenas. Elise Christine Di Tommaso. Luis Nahera. Jerry Cuevas. Tulio Donovan. Zach Van Riper. Jeff Moline. William Shipman.
Parents, families and friends, and graduates of the Offla College of Business, congratulations to you all.
Many of the proud supporters in our audience today have a familiar and exceptional sense of pride at this moment. Today marks an extraordinary day for the families of Cal Poly graduates who have chosen to continue their Mustang legacy. Many of you in the audience are Cal Poly proud alumni, and you may remember with vivid sense of clarity the pride and excitement that you felt when you graduated from Cal Poly. At this time, I would like to welcome anyone in the audience, the proud families, supporters, friends, parents, partners, spouses who are Cal Poly proud alumni. Please stand and be recognized. Welcome home to our alumni. You are always part of our Mustang family. It is now my pleasure to help welcome these graduates into the company of our Alumni Association. Please welcome Assistant Vice President for Alumni Outreach, Ellen Cahoon.
Wow, we have a ton of alumni here today, and we just added 300 brand new ones. Welcome, Cal Poly alumni. As a fellow alumna, I can see how Cal Poly proud you all are, and you absolutely should be. As I stand here today, I want to welcome you to the 180,000 strong family of Cal Poly alumni. This might be an intimate ceremony today, but there are 180,000 others just like you who understand what it means to have the learn by doing experience that only Cal Poly can give. And your alumni association will support you along the way. We will help you network, succeed in your careers, and meet new friends. So wherever you go, be sure to find your local alumni group to celebrate your lifelong connection to Cal Poly. Now, I'm honored to present to you a small gift from the Alumni Association, and it's a very special part of our commencement ceremony today. It will signify and serve as a reminder that you are a Mustang for life. So, graduates, if you'll reach into the Cal Poly Proud bag at your seat and find your Cal Poly Proud pin, and join me in a pinning ceremony as I lead you. I would also like to welcome Jana Colombini back up to the podium. Class of 2016, it is my distinct pleasure to lead you in our traditional Cal Poly Proud pin. Please stand, find your neighbor, and assist as you pin your fellow graduate seated beside you. As you pin your neighbor, you will embark on your next journey. Remember that Cal Poly will always be your home. You will always be part of the alumni family. Congratulations, and go Mustangs.
Thank you, graduates. You may be seated. Wow, you did it. As I said to many of you walking across the stage, you made it. Do you remember your first day on campus? Do you remember the first time you met the person now who is going to be a best friend for the rest of your life? Did you imagine that those first days, what today would be like? So when you think about Cal Poly, and you think about, as Keith said, from wow to now, we want you to always think about this day, and as Ellen said, to come home often. But then when you think about arriving on this beautiful campus, we also want you to think about all that happened to get you to this point today. You think about arriving, you think about what happened. Many of you today have had journeys before you arrived that were filled with obstacles, and you got to Cal Poly. Many of you have had obstacles while you're here at Cal Poly, and you've persevered. What we heard from Jackson Kaguri today is that you can persevere, you can do more than that. You can make a difference, and you can make a difference, as he says, with as little of a fifth of a pencil. Let's give Jackson Kaguri one more round of applause. When you think about that journey, you know you didn't do it alone. There are some people that we want to recognize. First, we must recognize the faculty and staff who make up Cal Poly. They've worked hard to teach you, to feed you, to support you, and to inspire you. They have dedicated their professional lives to your success. Will our faculty and staff in attendance please stand or wave? Graduates and family members and friends, please join us in recognizing these outstanding faculty and staff. Please stand. Thank you. You may be seated. And then, of course, also here with you today are your strongest supporters, the people who have given you their boundless love, encouragement, and yes, financial support as you move out into the world. And graduates, they're stressing the move out part. Your graduation today is their achievement as well. Will all of the parents, grandparents, siblings, spouses, partners, and other family supporters please stand? Graduates, everyone else, let's give it up for all of these wonderful supporters. Thank you. You may be seated. Graduates, we all know that today is really just the beginning. What adventures and successes await you in your life? We have high expectations of you, which we know can create a bit of anxiety. As we've pointed out earlier, we're also counting on you to care about something larger than yourselves. We know we're asking a lot of you, but we ask a lot of you for one simple reason. We know that you can do it. With this Cal Poly degree, you are ready. You can do it. Things are not always going to go your way, and life will not always be fair. You will undoubtedly make some mistakes, and you'll encounter some injustices that just seem too big to address. But when you make mistakes, just like you did in the classroom or the lab or whatever the experience might have been here on campus, that mistake, it's not a failure. It's called experience. It's called learn by doing. As a Mustang, you know how to learn from experience. You're ready. We're proud of you, and we want you to come home often. So congratulations, graduates. So there's one more important thing that we must do today, graduates. I'd ask you to please rise. Please move the tassel on your cap from the right to the left. This signifies that you're graduates and members of the Cal Poly family. Family members, friends, staff, on behalf of Cal Poly, I present to you the class of 2016. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations, class of 2016. After we sing the alma mater, President Armstrong and his party will lead the recessional. In the same order as they entered, graduates will follow their marshals out of the Recreation Center, and we ask that all guests remain seated until the class graduate has exited. We welcome you to a celebratory reception at the University Union Plaza. And now, Mustang family, please locate your alma mater on page 6 of your program, show your Cal Poly pride, and rise for the singing of All Hail Green and Gold.
All hail green and gold, may your praises e'er be told, of friendship and of courage, and stalwart sons of